How's it going, everybody? This is Coach Brad. Today I'm bringing you a sandbag exercise for the posterior chain, particularly glutes and hamstrings. This one is called the Romanian deadlift, also known as a straight leg deadlift. Sometimes we just call it R.D.L for short. I'm going to do 3 different hold variations on the bag, 3 different hold positions rather, but the basic movement is the same. We're working again with our hip hinge exercise. So it's not a squat, it's a hip hinge. It's a very different movement. And you can think of this like a moving stretch rather than a strength exercise. It is a strength exercise, but use it for mobility for the most part. Hamstrings are very strong muscles, generally speaking. They tend to be short, they tend to be tight, what we call overactive. So they generally need stretching more than they need strengthening. So first we'll start with low hold. I'm going to have my feet fairly close together. Let me just show this so you can see from the front. Fairly close together, so a little narrower than shoulder width. And my hinge movement looks something like this, keeping my back flat. I have a little bend in the knees, and I'm just lowering the bag towards the floor. Not so important if you touch the floor. A lot of that does depend on your current hamstring flexibility. Much easier if you see this from the side. Okay. So I'm using the parallel handles here at arm's length, feet close together. It's like I'm taking a bow. Hips move straight back as if I was trying to touch an imaginary wall behind me. And the bag stays very close to my knees. Why do I do that? Mainly because the closer it stays to my imaginary center of gravity, which is somewhere under here, it's definitely not out here, the less loading I feel on my low back. Okay, it's much safer to keep it as close to your body as possible. You can even slide it right down your thighs and down your shins and touch the top of your shoelaces with it. That's fine. That's a straight leg deadlift in the low hold position. Next grip position we're going to discuss is the Zercher position. Funky name. All this is we're holding the bag in the crook of our elbows, and we're going to add a little bit of a bicep squeeze to that. So we get this isometric tension in the bicep. Isometric, again, is tension, but you don't see any visible movement. You don't see a bicep curl. It's just here and hold. Okay, so I'm going to scoop the bag, squeeze it in the crook of my elbows. I'm not even holding. You can see I'm not clutching the bag. My hands are nice and loose. And now I'm going to attempt the same hip hinge movement. Go down to a nice point of stretch. You'll probably be able to get a little lower down in this hold position than you would in the low hold position. Okay, one point I will mention with the straight leg deadlift is you want to avoid looking at something that's really far out ahead of you. Why? Because look at the position my neck is in. Would you walk around like this all day? No, you wouldn't. That would really bother your neck. So why would you do that in this exercise? You would look at something on the floor about 4 to 5 feet ahead of you. That's it. Don't look at something across the room. Okay? Pro tip that you can use. Okay, third position, we're going to go across the upper back. Now I would use the end handles here to give me the most control and to keep the bag from slipping down my back. Here we go, same hip hinge movement, but now I have more of a top loading to my body. As I descend, I mostly feel a stretch in my glutes and my hamstrings. I should feel minimal pressure or tension on my low back. You might feel a little, that's okay. But it should be like 1, 2, 3 out of 10. It should not be painful. If it is, we need to reevaluate which grip position you're going to hold the bag in. Traditionally, this version is called the good morning, sometimes done with a barbell across the upper back. But that's our sandbag version. Okay, so that is our Romanian deadlift, aka R.D.L, aka straight leg deadlift. Enjoy your exercise.